Howdy, hello, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little Minecraft. Alright, I need... thingy. Where... Oh, I've got one on me. Oh, maybe I already got one and I was on my way back. I don't remember where I left off last time I played. I'm going to continue working on my Nether Hub again this week. Because I'm enjoying doing that at the moment, so... That is my plan. So I guess, oh, shoot. I was like, that seemed really fast. That's because I went the wrong way. Yeah, we managed to go out and see in-game last night. So I thought I'd give a little spoiler-free review, since it just came out, and I don't really like to spoil things this close to when they come out. I liked it. I liked parts of it. Let's put it that way. I didn't like the whole thing, and I feel like there was probably an hour they could have edited out of that movie. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies, like thousands of movies at this point, and I feel like a lot of movies now are just like, how many unrelated things can we cram into this movie all at once? And when people look at it like, oh, this is like, you know, the perfect whole movie, and I'm just like, that didn't need to be in there, that didn't need to be in there, that whole sequence had no impact on the storyline, it didn't need to be in there. And so there was a lot of that in this movie. I guess I went in... Maybe I went in with a different expectation of what the movie was going to be. I thought it was going to be the end of the Infinity War saga. So I did not go into the movie expecting a farewell to the original crew movie, because this is the final movie in the first, right, this is the end of, I don't know what they call it, I think they're calling it the Infinity War saga or something like that, but this is like the end of the original set of Avengers movies, right? So, like, a lot of the Avengers who have been the Avengers up to this point are not going to be continuing in future movies. So, not that they necessarily are, you know, getting rid of the characters or anything, but just that the actors playing them have reached the end of their desire to be those characters. Alright, now I gotta remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 across. And I don't think I have enough. I definitely don't have enough andesite to do all this, but I can at least start clearing out. some of this, right? But it was partially a good movie for me. I have to say partially because there's parts of it I just didn't care for, and I didn't feel like it was an amazing movie as a whole, or even necessarily in parts. We watched Infinity War the night before. No, 2 nights before. The night before. The night before. And you know what? Totally forgot what I was doing. And for me, Infinity War was a better movie. It was nice to see all the heroes. Most everybody, I think, was in it. There were some odd bits with some of the different characters, but for the most part, it was a pretty good. Here's everybody one last time kind of thing. I don't know. It did not. It did not. Really? Why couldn't you put me on the surface? I gotta make sure it put me someplace close to my portal, because I believe I can. Shoot, I'm never gonna find that. Where am I? This is not where I expected to come out. Oh yeah, no, right there's my house. We are really close. Okay, so then maybe what I need to do is I need to get in here and get the coordinates for this place. And then I can try and move my portal there. Because I do have this portal here. Okay, so give me a second to open up some things so I can calculate this. So a notepad to write down on, a calculator to do the calculations, and then we'll grab the coordinates. So this is -4685, -4685, and +1877. 1877. So 4685 divided by, oh shoot, it's 8, right? Is it 8? 586? Shoot, I don't remember off the top of my head what the difference is. 235. So 546235 should be Okay, so this brought me back to where I wanted to be. How close am I in here? 584, 546, and 218, 235. So 218 is off a little bit. Now, do you take me back where I want to be, or are you going to take me back underground? Take me back underground. Okay, so I'm going to break this one. I'm going to break this one. There we go. And then we're going to see if... I can get this to stop dumping me in the lake. Yeah, I know one of the things for me with any of the superhero movies now is that pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, you might have some funny moments in a movie, in a superhero movie, but there was a lot of seriousness. And since Guardians of the Galaxy, they have tried to cram every other scene with funny, because Guardians of the Galaxy was super popular. And I'm not saying I liked Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was excellent, but that was a team designed to be funny. Oh, dang it, just put me right back. Alright, so I'm going to have to move that one up above then. No, I'm not going to have to move the one up above. I'm going to have to move the Nether Hub portal thingy out a little bit more to get it to stop doing this. And so there's some choices they made in this movie I didn't care for to be funny. There was some story arc for some of the characters that made it seem like they were gonna do something, and then they basically were just in the movie so that they could do a joke at the end of the movie. And so there were a lot of characters in there that had all this stuff that goes down, and then they didn't actually do anything in the entire film. And, you know, so when you've got a 3-hour and 2-minute movie, and you spend 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes of your 3-hour and 2-minute movie, not on characters who don't actually have a point in the plot? Why are you wasting my time? And I know people are probably like, oh, but that stuff was super funny and I loved it in there, but that's not me. And I'm not saying other people shouldn't have a different opinion than what I have. I get that people love this movie. I talked to a guy last night who saw it. He said it's his favorite movie of the Marvel films so far. And, you know, I'm glad he liked it. But for me, I just thought it was okay. I thought it was a bit I thought it was a bit of a cluster mess, I guess. And I would have liked a little more focus, and I don't think I actually like this story. It just... And on top of that, they didn't even they didn't even cover, like, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but they did things and then said that they can't do some of those things, and then never solved the things they said they couldn't do. And then just went on like it never happened. And I don't mean like, oh, we can't figure this problem out. I mean like, we mustn't do this thing, and then they did the thing, and then they're like, meh, whatever, it happened. But yeah, so there are a few of those moments. They drastically changed some of the characters, and I didn't like those changes. And even some of the changes they did make were just weird. That I didn't want to make a screenshot. All right, so I need to be at 2. Oh, I need to be back here. 2, 3, 5 is what I figure. 2, 3, 5. All right. So here is where I need to be. 2, 3. Oh, right, because these are 3 wide. Now I've done it, right? I don't know where the center of my thing is at. Okay, it's against this wall. Oh, jeez. Now lava's gonna rain down on my head. Okay, so this is the center. So this should be, this is the center. This lava is going to screw me up. Alright, and my thing is 3 by 3. 1, 2, 3. So I need block, 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 block. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so now we'll ignite this. Take me to the surface. To the surface. To the surface. To the surface. Yes! To the nether. To the nether. Yes. To the surface. Yes, alright, that's working. Beautiful. That was really picky for only a few blocks off. Alright, so now which one of these ways... Okay, so we'll go this way. Great. No! Watch out for that lava. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know if they just got lazy. I don't know. I don't want to say they got lazy writing it, but I wished it had been the Infinity Gauntlet story part 2 and not a farewell to... I'm not saying it could have been both, but it was a little too much of the one and not enough of the other. And I definitely felt some of the characters should have been more involved in the story than they were. And, I mean, no spoilers, but with that many superheroes, they split into teams, and they straight up never showed what one of the characters did. And I found that to be weird. Okay, so that's wall. And then I need to tear this floor out, right? Because this whole floor here needs to be replaced with I gotta find the center again. This is the center. Okay. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then the edge. Yep, so this is the edge. It's really hard to dig this out with this fast pick like this. Okay, and then I gotta leave that in place because that's my way home. Also, and this is a warning, if you haven't seen it yet, this is a warning, don't sit through the credits. There's nothing at the end. Every Avengers movie that I'm aware of had a bit at the end, and 1, 2, 3, and the bit at the end of this one was nothing. I don't mean like nothing. I mean like there's a they mentioned that it was a Disney film. And then there's some metal being pounded on like in a forge. And that's it. I don't think that's a spoiler. That's just there's no picture. It's just the Disney. This is a Disney film with clang, clang, clang behind it. So whether that means anything, I don't know. I don't know enough about the Marvel stuff to know if that could possibly be pointing towards something, or if, in my thought, it was just a final send-off for Iron Man because he, forged his suit of armor in the first film. But after 3 hours of movie, I didn't appreciate sitting there waiting for the whatever the final little clip. I thought it'd be something for like Spider-Man Goes to Europe, whatever that other one's called. Spider-Man Takes a Class Trip. I'm not really a big fan of the Spider-Man movies. Or I wasn't that big of a fan of the current Spider-Man's movie. Spider-Man Goes to Prom. Or Homecoming, I think the first one was called. I mean, it was okay. It just wasn't. I grew up in the era where Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man, and I don't think any of the modern versions have been as good. Yeah, it's definitely, if you're an Avengers person, it's definitely worth a watch. You should definitely go see it because it does wrap up the Thanos story. But it's definitely not the way I would have done it. Not that I'm in charge of anything. I haven't read the comics. I don't know if that's the way it played out in the comics. I guess it could have played out that way in the comics. Wouldn't surprise me. But I do read comics. I read comics every week, just not the Marvel ones. I read the DC comics. And, there's a lot of stuff goes down in those comics that I wouldn't do the way they do them. I have a very specific taste, I believe, and yeah, it's pretty rare anymore for like a story in a comic book. Because I just think they're getting dumber and dumber. Don't get me wrong, there are some great DC comics that pop up occasionally. But there's a lot of DC comic that I'm just like, what? I know one I like to bring up. This is one of my what? There's a Supergirl comic, and so Supergirl is in space for whatever reason. I don't remember why she's in space, but she's in space, and she gets captured by Cyborg Superman, who's a reoccurring villain. He comes in multiple flavors, and so this particular version of Cyborg Superman turns out to be Supergirl's father. So he apparently has lost his memories because most of his body is cybernetic, is, you know, robot pieces. And so he believes the only way to get his memories back is to reconstitute his flesh body. And which makes no sense, given the way memories work. But fine. Until he reveals his plan on how he's going to do it. So Cyborg Superman is probably somewhere between 6'4" and 7 feet tall. And so he probably weighs a good 350 pounds in his flesh body, let alone how much he weighs in his robot body. And so his plan is to take, let's say she weighs about 105, 110 pounds, you know, 5 foot whatever Supergirl. He wants to take her body and break it down and use it to reconstitute his body. Because she has Kryptonian cells. I mean, he has Kryptonian cells because he's a cyborg, so he still has flesh bits. I don't know how you're supposed to take 110 pounds a person and turn it into 300 pounds a person. And they never explain how that's supposed to happen in the comic. And all I can think is, you do know that, given his level of technology and our, on real Earth, right now, capabilities of growing human cells in the laboratory, he should be able to just grow his own cells and then use the nanotechnology he's going to use to pull apart his daughter to just use the cells he grows in the laboratory and place them back into himself. Like, that makes way more sense than anything this comic was trying to do. And I cannot wrap my head around how dumb that storyline was. Because it was dumb. And so, you know, come across a lot of stuff like that. And I know you're supposed to suspend your disbelief and just go with it, but I just couldn't. It was just that dumb. Alright, so I need what? I need andesite. I need as much andesite. Oh, nice. My chest is empty. Alright, I need to repair some things then. Here's my sword. Oh no! I broke my thingy. You broke your thingy. Alright, I'm gonna leave this sword here. I need to be carrying 2 swords. I probably don't need 2. Well, Yeah, I probably don't need 2 efficiency picks on me either. I definitely don't need this Silk Touch book. So let's go put that in with my enchanted books. And then today was my birthday party. I share it with my niece. Oh hey, here's a thingy I can break. Hey, that one didn't break. And so we had our little birthday party today. It was funny. I was down here playing video game and watching something or another. I don't remember what I was watching. You don't think this looks like a thunderstorm? And so my niece, she comes downstairs and she says, "You know today is our birthday party." I'm like, "Yeah." And I mean, nobody had said anything to me, and so I was just kind of waiting for everybody to show up because I didn't. Look at that, ender pearls. I didn't actually know what time it was supposed to start. I have a lot of ender pearls. I might be able to open up the end soon. And I didn't know when we were starting. Nobody told me. And so she's like, "There are people here, and it's your birthday party." I'm like, "Okay, is it dinner time, or are we just doing something else before we have the actual party part? Like, do you want me to come upstairs?" She's like, "There are just people here, and it's your birthday party." I'm like, okay. So I went upstairs, and I think dinner arrived like 2 minutes after I went upstairs, so I'd have been upstairs anyway shortly, but that was really funny to me. I'm like, "What people are here?" Because the only people that were coming over was my brother and his family. It's not like we were having an actual, party with 20 people or something. And she goes, "My cousins are here." But so yeah, it was all right. We share our birthday party now. Well, I guess we have ever since she was born, because we're born in the same month. And so, for me, that has up until this month been meant that my birthday was celebrated early. But this month we celebrated late on both birthdays. And so, yeah. Although we had a lot going on this month, they they decided they wanted to hold off on celebrating birthdays until all the guests, house guests that were here for the last month due to some family stuff went home. And so they finally went home on last Monday. And so we ended up with a little birthday party today. I'd already gotten most of the presents from my family. I don't know. I don't know. My brother and his family must have got me. Oh, I think they got me the Conan movies, which I have a birthday gift list thingy that I keep up to date, and so I've been wanting to watch the old Conan the Barbarian film, so I put it on my birthday list. I keep forgetting that there's a modern Conan the Barbarian film with Jason Momoa in it, and so that's what they wound up. They got me that and the original a 2-pack with Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer in it, so that was cool. And then I'd just seen Glass, and I was like, man, that movie was awesome. So I didn't know it was coming out on Blu-ray, and so I put that on on my list because I figured it'd be sometime soon, and so I got that today too. In fact, we just finished watching Unbreakable because I'm going to watch through Unbreakable and Split and Glass. I was going to watch it with my sister, but the way our family works, she is not allowed to do anything with me without her children or husband throwing a fit. And today was no different. He basically took a nap all afternoon, and so then she asked if they were doing anything and if he cared if she came down here and watched that movie. And so he said no, poutily. And then you know, we invited him too. It's not like I was like, oh, just her. And so he's been napping all afternoon, and there are other people here. And so he's like, well, I can't. And, you know, somebody's got to watch the kids. And so he's been sleeping all afternoon. And so she comes down, and we start watching it, and we got almost to the end. And then the 6-year-old niece, she comes down. And then another weird thing to me is, like, they watch things that I think are probably too intense or frightening for children with their children sometimes. And then if I'm watching something, they're like, oh, no, my kids can't watch that with you. That's just too much. And so I don't think Unbreakable is as intense as the Hobbit trilogy or the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But every time I'm like, hey, you think your kids could watch? My sister's always like, no, that's just, I don't think that's appropriate. And I'm like, but you watched Lord of the Rings with them, and I don't think there's anything in this as intense as most of Lord of the Rings. I mean, what do you think happens in Unbreakable that's as bad as what they do in Lord of the Rings? I mean, you know, there are 3 people held captive in Unbreakable. There are hundreds of people being killed and tortured, or their skeletons are laying around in Lord of the Rings. So 30 seconds of him rescuing people and then fighting one guy versus hours and hours of that in Lord of the Rings. But if they do it, it's okay. If I'm watching something, like there's the old movie called Legend I want to watch with my nephew, and every time my sister's like, I don't think he can watch that. I'm like, it's rated PG. What do you mean you don't think he can watch it? I don't understand. There's no logic to your thought process. Which, I mean, is true. But how are we doing here? We're getting some. Alright, well, I have definitely talked long enough here. So I'm going to go ahead and in the video, I'm going to continue mining here a little bit, I think. And maybe go back and work some more on my Nether Hub. We'll see. Although I do have a game of Space Haven on pause in the background, so I might have to go back to that. Anyways, click like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.